Queensland. Yeah, there was a stall called just then, but players didn't look like they realised, so players sort of continued, and Ava Mueller for Queensland jacked it long and another turnover. So a few turns early on in this game.
So Narelle up the line to Paula. There's a strong wind across to this side of the field, and so it's really hard to get off this line. Paula struggling. What's she going to find? Still 9. Up to over to Jackie.
And there's another stall called, so it's the same player from Queensland. Amanda Wong has now called 2 stalls, but it looks like she's retracted both of them. So Vivian Young for Queensland, there's a little bit of miscommunication there, looks for the dump and just end up throwing a turnover.
Pretty hard conditions for throwing here. Narelle's got the disc. Looking upfield, he wants to make a big throw. Spots Paula, picks it up. Paula on the sideline, looking for a throw. Over to Tori. Oh, and it's put down. A little bit behind her. Hard to snag that one. Cool.
So Queensland's got the disc again. Amanda Wong with the disc. Little bit of struggle, jacks it down the line, sort of a get out of jail free, manages to get it to Jennifer Smith, who's in acres of space, and in the end zone, beautiful put to Amy Bolt. So Queensland score that one downfield with the wind. SA played quite well at that point. They managed to get it 3/4 of the way up the field into what is quite a heavy breeze.
Yeah, it's sort of a strong cross breeze as well, so it's really hard to get it off this sideline. They find more space on the other side. I reckon they'll move it quite quickly. But
yeah, we were watching the first couple of games, and the zones were really quite effective. Once they got it stuck and trapped on this sideline, getting that swing option off is quite difficult. So it'll be interesting to see who puts the zone on first for both of the teams. And as you can see, there's that throw up the line, and Adelaide player just looks like she got a little bit caught out of space. That moment's of hesitation, saying, do you mark the short player, do you mark the long player, or do you mark the player under? She marked the player long, got thrown to the short player, and then she was out of space for that second throw. So Queensland worked that really well. It was 3-on-1 deep, which is not what anyone wants most of the time.
SA scored the first one. That one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much all gone that way. It is
the same in the men's game.
Yeah, I mean it's slightly that way, but it's also very strong on the Cassie's way.
So the breeze once again blowing sort of a little bit right to left, but mostly crossfield, which means that on the commentary box side of the field is quite difficult to. It's that trap sideline, so you want to sort of get it on.
Queensland
nice
pull
from Queensland.
We got
good roll.
Ayaka, Japanese import to it's rolling over to Rel. It's a really good pull in the end, all the way to the end zone. It's going to be a hard one to move from here. So Queensland does throw on the zone. Narelle swings to Ayaka. Really hard to get this going. Over to Jade. Jade to Narelle. Good dishy. What's Narelle going to do here? She's going to be tempted to throw it as the options dry up. Over to Ayaka. Over to Jade. Oh, it's a great grab on the second attempt.
Yeah, she bobbled the first one, but managed to hold on to it as she's diving.
Not strong with her flick, but gets it off anyway to Ayaka. Over to Kath. Kath back to Ayaka. It's edge of your seat sort of stuff. Disc is bobbling and bouncing around, trying to work it through this zone. Finds her. Oh, right off her chest. Miranda puts it down, and the Queenslander makes sure of it.
And a miscommunication there from Queensland. Kath Smith picking up the disc, looking to swing it to Ava Mueller, and she just threw it behind her. That is not what you want on the first throw from a turnover. So SA got another chance at it now. Yeah, it's tough for Queensland to bring it up. And we saw that last game as well. New South Wales were implementing that, just jacking it, putting the defence on, because it's really tough to work it up against this breeze. So Queensland picking up the disc, stuck on that corner. Puts it down the line to Sophie Taylor. Up the line to Kat Smith, and Kat just jacks it. Nice flick huck. It's coming short. Just died in the end and didn't give him a chance to catch it at all. So SA gets another chance at it.
Can they get it off this sideline? Looking for a shot. One of their main handlers, Narelle, has chosen to go downfield. Switch things up a little bit. So we got some folks who are not usually handlers over to Chloe. Over to Yucca. Great grab coming through the cup. Narelle's downfield. Can she hit it? Not quite. Okay. Not a bad look. Still on the sideline here, though.
Yeah, a little bit risky from that shot, but I like it because they swung it 4 or 5 times. Crossfield didn't make any ground, and that one was a 40-metre gain across field. They had the player there, but just a little skill error. Just couldn't quite get it to her. So Ava Mueller for Queensland starts with it. Looks for Kat Smith up the line.
Narelle quickly wants to put this. Can she find a target? Yeah, she puts it up. Oh, it's a bit of a bladey shot, though. Rolls all the way downfield. Just
didn't get enough air on that one. Tried to put it up into the breeze, but it just didn't catch. So a lot of turns early on in this game. The first 2 points were quite nice. They quite quick, and this point now the defence is sort of locked on for both teams, which means it's a bit of an arm wrestle. Neither offence can seem to get it more than halfway. Nice put to Sophie Taylor. Taylor to Kat Smith. Great pick up, nice and short, and she just jacks it long. Unfortunately, Crystal Rowe just couldn't get a hand on it. It was a great put from Kat Smith.
Yeah, great shot into the wind. Ayaka to walk to it. They're still positioned with Narelle as their deep option, rather than being back around the disc. It's an interesting strategy. Kath with the disc now.
That's just one
straight
to reset
back to
the
Ayaka.
stall count.
Can she get off the sideline, or is she going to just put it? She's going to be tempted to just throw this here, I think. Oh, it's not a little bit of a tuck around the corner. Couldn't quite connect.
So Mueller going to pick up the disc for Queensland. They've got it halfway mark, stuck on the sideline, and she just jacks it. Read well by Ayaka for South Australia, and they're on offence again.
Miranda's got the disc back to Ayaka. Can they get it off this sideline? Really cramming it for space through the middle. It's gone to
Maddie Smith.
Maddie to, that's worked. It's worked. Narelle's got the disc. Good throw right outside the end zone. Everyone's streaming past her. Can't quite find a connection. Over to Maddie. Dumps it to Jade.
And Maddie's got it 3 or 4 times.
Got the collie. There we go. Look at that. That's how you work it in.
And that's what you got to do sometimes. The good players, Maddie obviously playing for the Blue Bottles under-23s over in London, managing to get a silver medal. And so that was really Maddie and Narelle, the two strongest players, or two of the strongest players on that line, stepping up, taking control of the disc, a couple of throws back and forth each other, and then they just force it in.
Look, I wasn't convinced that putting one of your shortest and best handlers deep was a strategy there, but that certainly paid off for them. Narelle coming up with the goods and making sure that happens. So,
yeah.
Kudos to the girls.
Obviously knew where to cut in that situation. So it's 2-1. South Australia 2 to Queensland 1. Both scores, all scores have been downwind so far at this point, and Queensland just called the timeout to have a look at it. So just have a look. Narelle to Maddie. Maddie gives a little dishy across open space, back to Maddie, and then 3 or 4 dishies, just 1, 2, 3, 4 into the end zone. Just having a look at the South Australian team on the sideline. They look pretty happy, pretty bubbly. They're up 2-1. They're just trading at the moment, as opposed to the Queensland team, who is in a huddle at the moment. They're having a very serious chat. I think they expected to win that point. They got it into the end zone a few times, and they're a bit unhappy with that. So we'll see if that timeout chat will actually rev them up and get them to change. You can see the South Australian pineapple that's being passed around. I think it's compulsory. Everyone has to have a bite out of that sometime today. So we'll see if they all get a throat infection. Adelaide having a pretty long timeout chat. It's only meant to be 2 minutes, but they no one's really caring too much. Queensland's on the line, but they're pretty chill about it. We'll see how long they can squeeze it out for. It looks like they're having a chat about sort of the setups from that last point. Obviously, they sent two of their main handlers went running into the end zone, and there was a lot of turns. So possibly talking about staying in your positions. Doing what you're meant to do, allowing the play to sort of flow a little bit more so they don't turn it over as much. Queensland look pretty happy with themselves. They've put quite a tall line on, ready for the downwind point. And the conditions here have settled a little bit. Still pretty solid wind from last point, but the sun has come out a little bit. It's warmed up a bit. So there shouldn't be as many drops coming into the next couple of games. So Queensland receiving the pull. On offense, going downwind. They've got quite a strong line on. Amanda Wong, Kat Smith, Amy Bolt, Bronte Curry, Dahlia Hendy, Harriet Barringer, Jennifer Smith, and looks like Becky Chang is on as well. So quite a strong offensive line. They don't want this point to go on as long as the last one. So South Australia pull it. It just straight out of bounds. I don't know. It looks like it came out of a hand a little bit wrong. Didn't even make halfway. So Queensland have got a good chance to push this one in. Opting it to taking from the sideline as opposed from the brick mark because it went out so close. South Australia putting the zone on. Oh, nice scuba there by Amy Wong. A great grab by Yuli Yap. Unfortunately, she tried to squeeze it down, and it's a little bit of a turnover. So SA, not a very long pull, but they've sort of got a get out of jail free card with the turnover there from Queensland.
So Yucca about the disc. They're in some sort of stack here. Over to Narelle. Oh, nice pick up low off the ground. Back to Ayaka. Sits there really nicely, those throws from Narelle. What's she looking for? Over to Paula. Paula, she's going to look for a quick dump. Yep, back to Ayaka. Can she find Narelle? Looking for Mickey. Mickey always a very big target, very strong target to hit. And Ayaka gets up the line. Yeah, great. She got people going. Puts it up. It's a bit high and floaty. Who's going to get it under it? Oh, it's going to probably be... Oh, it's a very strong grab.
Kat Smith there, using her experience and her height. She's done that before. Grabs the disc and just jacks it. There's no one deep, but she just wanted to get it out of there. So jacks it full field. South Australia now stuck in the dirty corner and now have to try and work it out of there. They're opting not to put a zone on, so they're just going to play man defense here and back their legs in.
Yaka put the disc in play. Mika's going to try and fake her out. It's a big throw, though, when players get more than 20 metres away from the disc. It starts to get a very big throw. Oh, Jackie just got it on the fingertips there. Unfortunately, SA quick to put this zone straight back on.
Yeah, Kat Smith heading to pick up the disc. Experienced head. She'll want to not waste this disc here. Just a high release flick straight over the cup. Nice and easy to Vivian in the end zone. So Queensland, not too difficult. They just jacked it long, put their faith in the defense, and then a nice, easy little high release.
It's just a good disciplined strategy, really. Just you don't want to turn the disc up the upwind side, so you just toss it every time, and just always make them play the full field.
So you can see South Australia putting on a 4-man cup, which New South Wales were actually using, the men's New South Wales using the same cup last game. And it was a really good strategy, but they weren't playing it downwind, they were playing it against the upwind. So, yeah, interesting strategy. Downwind is obviously a lot harder to control with a zone because you can just put it over. You've got the scubas, you've got the hammers, and in this wind, they're not too bad. So Queensland on defense, they've put a pretty tall line on. They've got some very tall players. SA, probably average height. They've got 1 or 2 pretty tall players, but across the board, a little bit shorter than Queensland. And we'll see if they put the zone on or if they just keep playing man. They've it's been working for them. So Queensland has a hand up. Adelaide coach is still on the field. They've been taking a fair amount of time calling everything. Queensland obviously trying to hurry it up a little bit.
Decent pull from Queensland. It's going to have a little bit of a roll. Stopped by Miranda. Yaka to put it into play. I reckon they're going to want to get this moving forward pretty quickly. I want to muck around with this up this end.
Queensland opting to put their 3-man cup on.
Jade to Miranda. Miranda, she wants to go backwards, but the mark is doing a great job there. Very close to that sideline there, Yaka. Mickey wants to just put this. It's over the top, but Narelle's coming from behind. No, not quite. Good D by Queensland.
Now, although that's a turnover for South Australia, they're not in a bad position. They've got Queensland right on the end zone line, stuck in that dirty corner. It's hard to get the disc out of there. To get a swing, you've got to do a big backhand breaker into the wind, and it's hard to throw up the line. So if they can hold it in this position, they can make a good advantage for themselves, even on defense. Oh, and just a drop by Queensland. Crystal just couldn't control it.
Over the top of the original intended receiver, but yeah, didn't quite snag it. Yaka's a bit of a rock back here, isn't she? Don't want to jinx her, but she's been very good for SA. I think she's just going to want to...
curse.
It's not a bad option again. It's bubbling a bit, yeah. Still persisting with having one of their shortest players as the receiver. It's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, so Ayaka holding onto that disc. It was about stall 7. She didn't really have a dump option. So as an experienced head that she is, jacket long, give her defense a chance. And she just made more ground on the throwaway throw than she did on any of the underthrows. So
Narelle's taking control here. Mickey's going to work hard. Crossfield shot. Miranda reads that really well, backs up and just takes it on her chest. Excellent catch, excellent read of the disc.
Fantastic throw. The wind's just dropped down a little bit, so it's going to be up to whoever team can take an advantage of when that wind drops out to make those nice big crossfield throws. That was a beautiful pass and a really nice read by the South Australian.
Actually, I think Miranda's from Melbourne. She's came.
Oh, Melbourne import. No wonder she's playing so well in the cold weather.
I think that's what's happened.
You can see there, the Queenslander just such a good throw. It just went straight over her head. Not much of an option to get the D there. So it's 3-2. So we're still trading here, South Australia v Queensland at the Under-22 Nationals Championships, the inaugural Under-22 Nationals Championships, being played at Deakin University in Warren Ponds, which is just in Victoria, just near Geelong. Wonderful facilities here. We played a tournament, I remember playing a tournament here about 4 years ago for regionals, and it was horrible, very hot. The grounds were hard, but the government and Deakin University put a lot of money into it, so that we've got a few synthetic fields under play. We're on the football field at the moment, but it's beautifully flat. Grass is not too bad, and laying out, I've seen a lot of people laying out, and not too many grazers, so that's what you want. It's a little bit windy, and it's a little bit cold, but if you're running around, it's not too bad. So, wonderful day for Frisbee here, Warren Ponds in Deakin University. South Australia have got the pull. Queensland on offense.
So far, all scores have been right to left, going with the wind.
And that's a trend not just for this game, but for a lot of the games this morning that we've been watching. It's a bit hard to, with that crossfield wind, it's hard to get it upfield. So Vivian with the disc, puts it across to Bronte Curry, to Kat Smith, into the end zone. Oh, and Queensland, who was it? She just looked like Yule just fell over in the end zone, just tripped herself up, and that's a turnover. So South Australia's disc on the end zone line.
Mickey to bring the disc in. Trying to find Narelle, but very good marker defense on Narelle. Puts it slightly behind, and the defense. Oh, a foul's been called. Let's see how they discuss this.
So Kat Smith just coming from behind there. Both players went up, but looks like she impeded vertical space a little bit. Spirit's been quite good here this morning for such young, such young players with not much sort of competitive experience. The calls have been quite good, and the discussions have been quite good. So it looks like it's been uncontested, and play starts again. So South
Polards going to want to have an out here. Yep, gets it to Narelle. Strong pair of hands. Oh, looking like she wants to huck it, but it's a big throw. Puts it out to Jade. Great grab by Jade. Makes sure everybody getting down to it.
And unfortunate there. It looked like halfway through the throw, she wanted to pull out of it, but forgot to hold on to the disc, and it just slipped out. So Kat bringing the disc in for Queensland. High stall count, high backhand down the line, and a great grab by Amanda Wong, towing the line, and Queensland get the score downfield, so it's 3-3.
So, of course, as well as playing for their teams here and their states here, a lot of these players are also auditioning, as it were, for under 24 World, which is in Perth at the beginning of 2018. And I've just noticed over my left shoulder is Michelle Phillips, who's the under 24s coach for the women's team, is standing there and is observing all this and I guess taking notes.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the other coaches. Yueng, who is coaching the Blue Bottles, the mixed team. Oh, sorry, the men's team. And I've seen Max Helden walking around as well. All the coaches and selectors wandering around. It's a great opportunity for them to actually see some of the new players that may not have been playing Div 1 Nats, that may have only been playing university frisbee. So it's sort of a showcase, not only for you guys at home so that you can see some good frisbee, but also for the selectors to have a look at some new young faces.
And real credit to Mish and to Max, who I don't believe have any coaching responsibilities here. They've actually just come out just for this. Actually, Max does have coaching responsibilities, but just for this event, Michelle's come out and she's here at a game of South Australia versus Queensland. So really trying to get to grips with all the talent that's all around the country, and make a note so she can. Look, selections are going to happen sometime during next year, maybe mid-year.
Hasn't officially been announced,
but it's sometime next year. Could be a little bit earlier, could be mid-year. It's not very far away for these players.
Yeah, it was advertised pretty heavily in the lead up to this competition that if you wanted to play under 24s, you really should be playing this. It's a good way of showcasing your talents, but it's a really good experience. And because of the way that Worlds teams are formed in Australia through all of the different states, it's quite hard to actually organise trainings. You have to fly and it's quite expensive. So tournaments like this where you can meet with players your own age from different states and sort of get to know them on a personal level is really, really good for Worlds teams, because then when you go in for training camps, when you actually get picked in the teams, you already know people's names and you've seen them play before. So really, really good opportunity for a lot of the players here to learn a lot, but also sort of showcase their skills ready for under 24s. Queensland with the pull.
It's a really nice pull. It puts South Australia really far back. Let's see how they respond to that. Narella Nyaka, solid as always at the back. And Jackie is a fairly young player, but she's really been coming along strongly now. Developed really good throws. Was one to watch in the future. Oh, yeah, that's an errant throw from Ayaka, one of the rare errant throws. Just put a little bit of inside out on that, and it drifted too far away from Maddie. Excellent chance for Queensland here.
So Yuli Yap from Queensland bringing it in on the sideline. Throws it up the line to Kat Smith, and there's a call. Just trying to figure out exactly what happened. So it looked like Kat tried to catch it and the player in front jumped up through her hand. Just having a discussion to sort of decide exactly what the right call is. And it looks like it's contested.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at that one, but it seemed like it was resolved fairly amicably, which is great.
So contested, Yuli Yip gets the disc back, and now they've got to figure out which stall it's coming in on. So it's coming in on stall 2.
I reckon that's still a great target, that one that they just tried to hit. Oh, just bobbles. That's excellent. Hands there. Oh, bobbled. Oh, bobbled again and caught.
Oh, no.
Wow, it must have been on 4 people then.
So Queensland put it up the line to Ava Mueller, who then puts it into the end zone. And there was a touch by Queensland, a touch by South Australia, and then Queensland managed to get underneath it and get the final dibs on it. So Queensland get the first break of the day, upwind, which puts them in front 4-3. It's a really good opportunity now. Obviously, there hasn't been many breaks all tournament in all of the games we've been watching, but in this, obviously, that's the first one. Oh, and look, it's jacked up, tapped, and then caught finally. South Australia had 2 hands on it there. She should have gone for the catch, probably, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. So Queensland have got the break now, and really all they've got to do is just score their offensive points. So Queensland having a quick chat. Obviously, they've got the advantage here. They're on defense, but they're going downwind. So they really want to consolidate this break. They want to score that's another downwind, just to put them in front by 2, so that after half-time, they've still got that lead. Put on their defensive line, and it looks like they've called a zone. So their zone's a 3-man cup, just a traditional 3-3-1. See if they can trap South Australia on the left-hand corner. And that pull goes exactly where they want it, stuck in the bottom left corner. South Australia looking for a swing. Gets the dump, which puts them in even more strife. Closer to the sideline and a metre backwards. Goes up the line. So Paula Wang stuck on the sideline, gets it to Ayaka. Ayaka's looking to get it over the top. Back to Paula to reset the stall, and Ayaka's got moving really well, but a little bit too ambitious. Tries to get the swing, and Yuli Yap just steps in front, gets the run through D. Queensland got the disc. So Yuli Yap squeezes it through. And unlucky, just looks for that punt into the end zone. And just missed a player. It didn't look like there was a player there. So a little bit of discussion there. Ayaka grabbed the disc. The Queensland players thought she established a pivot, but she's allowed to take it up to the front of the end zone if she doesn't establish a pivot. So she walks it back up to the top. Nikki with the disc for South Australia. Back to Jackie. Back to Ayaka. Back to Nikki. Oh, Michaela, sorry. So South Australia try to squeeze it up the line. Just a little bit of an errant throw. Turnover. Vivian Yun with the disc. Swings it to Yuli Yap. And powers it down the line to Crystal Rowe, just standing on the front of the end zone line. Didn't have to do much. It was a nice throw. So Queensland consolidate that break. Got the downwinder, so they're now up 5-3. Queensland called a timeout after that. Obviously pretty happy with their endeavour. So just while there's a timeout call, we might have a look at the game on the far field. So we've got ACT women up against the WA women. And WA score another break. So I would have to guess, but I have a feeling the score over there is about 6-2 to WA. They've got a couple of breaks upwind, similar to the score here on this field. South Australia, after this timeout, they've got a big ask for them. It's 5-3. Queensland's just scored a break and then consolidated downwind. So
yeah, these games aren't often decided by more than 1 or 2 upwinders. So, you know, that could be the game there. South Australia are going to have a real hard battle trying to go upwind. And remains to be seen whether they can do it. Look, for me, sometimes you need to, you know, take your chances and go for a bit of a huck upwind. It's very hard to handle, the windy conditions, and if you just short pass, eventually you're going to turn one over. So, you know, get in a power position, get a strong thrower, and just whack it up there and hope for the best. I reckon give yourself some chance of getting into that end zone.
Yep, it worked for New South Wales men's last game, and it worked for Queensland for their one. So sometimes playing it slow is good, but in this kind of wind, sometimes just got to jack it, give yourself a chance to gain some ground, gain some meters. But who knows at this stage? Still very early on in the game. So once again, Queensland just trying to get this game moving. They've been, trying not to take up too much time. They've been trying to sort of push South Australia and rush them a little bit. So at every time out, they're bursting out as fast as they can. And after every point, only taking up 30 seconds or so, sticking the hand up nice and early. South Australia more than content just to take up all of the time allocated and as much extra that they can get away with. Try and give as much knowledge and as much advice to their younger players as possible. So the Queensland line, we've got Harriet Barringer, number 1. We've got Finda Daunton, number 2. Kat Smith, number 3. Bronte Curry, number 4. Dahlia Hendy, number 5. Crystal Rowe, number 6. And Ava Mueller, number 7. I see on defence, they don't seem to be putting a zone on too often, so probably coming down hard man against South Australia, trying to put a bit of pressure on them, see if they can get another break.
So it's a pretty critical hold here for the Aussies, starting on offence. If they can put this one in, then it gives themselves a chance to have a go at the upwinder. But if Queensland can break them here, it's going to be really hard to come back from.
It'll be very tough from that position.
Ayaka moves to the disc, over to Narelle. They have come down in the zone. Mickey's going deep. She's a big target. Narelle wants it, but chooses to go to Ayaka instead.
So it's a 4-man cup, which means there are lots of holes if you're willing to go over the top. The wind has just died down a little bit, so we'll see what happens.
Polar got the disc through the middle, but then couldn't find the next target. This is going to be a big point for Queensland. Big throw goes up.
Oh, and a great D there by Chloe Neville. That was huge.
Really important D. So if I was a South Australian goal handler right now, I would be very tempted to put this as far as I could down the other end of the field.
Yeah, when you've got players like Maddie Smith and Chloe Neville sitting a little bit deeper, just put it up to them and let them do their job.
Yeah. The wind has died down a bit now. It's not blowing too fierce right now. Oh, a ricochet caught by Maddie. Puts it up again. Narelle's under it. Can she track it down? Oh, it's a bit too far. Oh, just a bit too far. And Queensland will work it back the other way.
So Michaela obviously heard the commentators, jacked it straight into the cup, ricocheted across the field to Maddie, which is not a bad option. So Finda Daunton back to Kat Smith in the middle.
Kat Smith, one of the few throwers who doesn't seem to be too affected by the wind here. She seems to be throwing both sides of the field with ease, hucking it as well. Very strong thrower.
And that does happen when you've played multiple Worlds campaigns and been playing for a lot of years. It's that little bit of experience on the Queensland team that just seems to be shining through. So Sophie Taylor got the disc in the middle, back to Kat Smith, and jacks it into the end zone. Maddie Smith, good run through.
Careful with the first throw. Back over to Yaka. Down this sideline. Jake going long. Yaka to Polar. Polar popping fiercely here. Gets it through to straight between two South Australians.
So Ava Mueller picking it up, getting it to Kat Smith in the middle. Kat Smith calling it. She's saying, get out to the break side. I've got that throw. No one listened to her. So she goes straight down the line to Harriet Barringer. Harriet just a little bit impatient there and turns it over.
Oh, South Aussies take their time here. Cup's all set up. Ayaka is walking to it, looking at the field. What's she going to hit? What are her targets? One of their tallest and most dominant receivers, Michaela, is back behind the disc. And one of their strongest and shortest throwers, Narelle, is downfield.
Ava Mueller getting up high, getting that D. Puts it up to Kat Smith on the open side. Puts it back to Ava Mueller down the line, but she just couldn't get to it. So South Australian disc again.
Narelle picks it up, can see Chloe going, puts it high. I think this one's heading out. High and floaty. Whoa, actually, it wasn't too far out in the end.
Just too much angle on that. She just had needed to throw a flat disc, but instead threw it a bit inside out, and the wind just caught it. So Queensland get it moving again. Back to Kat Smith. Kat Smith throws it through the middle to Finda Daunton. Back to Ava Mueller, but just couldn't hold on to
Maddie
it.
just got the hand in there. Can Narelle throw it with a bit of angle, but it looks okay. Straight to Chloe. Oh, no, she's put it down. Oh, dear. Oh, well, it was actually a really nice throw in the end.
And that's not what you want as a thrower. You throw, you get the break, put it out in front, there's no receiver, and then have the receiver drop the disc.
Another ricochet catch.
And Queensland, it looks like she just dropped the disc there. So it's a turnover. Narelle
Bit of an
picks
odd
it up
situation.
and puts it to Maddie Smith in the end zone. Two experienced players once again scoring it for South Australia.
Getting the job done. Not quite sure what passed between the two Queenslanders there. Looked at each other for a long time and didn't move. Nothing was called, and South Australia's just played on.
I think what happened, and we have it on the replay, is that the player with the disc actually grabbed it and then tried to throw a dump back, and the defender, the mark, actually got a hand in there and got a hand block on her. So you have a look, Maddie actually gets a hand block there. And then Kat Smith sat there, looked at her, she says, oh, come on, that wasn't a hand block, was it? Surely you still had the disc. And then
Nothing's
no
been called,
call.
though, and South Australia
South Australia, Narelle, obviously the experienced head, just gets the disc moving early, while Queensland is still in disarray, and that's what you want. So, good point from South Australia there.
So long point, lots of turnovers, and in the end, it's just a hold for the South Aussies. So Queensland are really making them work for that one. But it does give the South Aussies a chance to come back upwind here. And the wind is, I'd say, a bit lower than it was at the start of the game, I think. It's not quite blowing so hard.
Yeah,
so
it's sort of a bit gusty. So it'll pick up for a few points, and then it'll ease off for a couple of points. And I think that's where Queensland were a little bit lucky with their upwinder. So there's definitely, with about 30 or 40 minutes still left to play, there's still chance for South Australia to get another break upwind and come back. So it's definitely not over.
So I think these are 70-minute games, right? Is that right, 70-minute games?
Yep.
So we've got 20 minutes left to play.
And then after time cap, you finish the point, add one. So there's still lots of game time to be played. And Queensland once again had a hand up for 25 seconds. They're trying to rush the play. South Australia won't have any of it. They're going to use up all the allocated time. So Kat Smith picking up the pull in the middle of the field and
you'd think
looking
that'd
to
go
jack
straight
it.
away, yeah. Oh, Mickey's jumped high, but didn't really need to. And that's very easy for Queensland.
That's unfortunate for Michaela. She saw the disc coming up and it just sat a little bit, just slightly misread it, went straight over her fingertips. She won't be happy with that one. But lucky for her, it's just the downwind point for Queensland, so it's not too big a deal. So you can see here, Kat Smith says 2 offensive players down there and just throws it right in the middle. Michaela just unlucky there, just missing the disc by a fraction of a finger length. And Queensland make them pay. So it's been a bit of a slow game, this one. A few timeouts called, and both teams, or South Australia mostly, but both teams taking their time in between points. So it's 50 minutes past. Still no time cap. Still no halftime. Sorry, halftime's at 8, and it doesn't look like it's. I don't think it's going to get to half.
Good to see.
Timeout's called.
Good to see all the teams here. Pretty much all the teams here have coaches. Often young coaches that are working on their craft. We see both these teams have a head coach with a notepad and a pen, taking stats, making notes, coming on each point to tell their teams how to improve. It's good to see people spending time with the youth, I guess, and turning them into our next superstars.
Interesting point you make there. It's true. Having a coach is very important, especially for some of these young players. And some of the coaches here obviously are not old. They're quite young. They're players who've just played an under-23s tournament or something like that. Unfortunate drop for South Australia.
Didn't quite get the backswing on the throw, so just dropped a bit short. Big aggressive mark.
Vivian just swings to the middle to Harriet Barringer. Drops it back to Mueller, who points deep. She wants someone to go. She jacks it exactly where she pointed it. And there's a big pack in the end zone. And that's unfortunate for South Australia. It went right over everyone in the pack and just dropped down to a Queenslander.
It's going to be tough for South Australia from here. So they get the upwinder starting on offense, but haven't yet gone upwind this game. So that's
Queensland just sort of pulling ahead.
Yep.
You can see the point there from Mueller. She points it, she says go there, and then 2 seconds later jacks it right to that same position. So there's 2 in the cup, and it just floats straight over the top of him to an unsuspecting Becca Chang, and then puts it in to the end zone for the score. So Queensland, starting on defense downwind, they'll be putting a very strong team on after half. It's half at 8 in the men's games, but I didn't read the scores for the women's game, so I have a feeling they're coming off the field. Must be half. So we've got a 5-minute half here. Just going to run and...
So someone's out at the point to the scoreboard on the sideline to each team, and the score on the sideline is 8-5, even though we're pretty confident at 7-4.
I can tell you it's definitely 7-4. We've been keeping score from the start. So
at least the margin's right, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll just amend that on the scoreboard, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. 5-minute half. We'll just check the scores on the other games, and we'll come back to you in a minute. So in the game across the field from the Queensland v South Australian women's game, we have the WA women taking on the ACT women. So WA smoking them. It's 13-2 at the moment. And in the game behind that, we have New South Wales women taking on Victoria women. Yeah, so Victoria women taking on New South Wales women. Victoria is up 7-5. So there's a timeout called at the moment on that game. New South Wales having a quick chat because they really don't want Victoria to take half. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes after half time. So we've had a few requests for some shout-outs. Shout-outs to Jodie Palmer, watching this game pretty closely. She says, yeah, go Narelle. Obviously playing a pretty good game. And shout-outs to Simon as well, who's watching closely. We're checking the comments, so feel free to ask any questions about some players or about the weather or any general comments. We'll get back to you. Queensland's on the line now. New South Wales, South Australia's on the line as well, ready to start again. So looks like Queensland is starting on offense, coming downwind. So South Australia's got a bit of a task to come back from here. It's going to be tough for them.
Did you sit in on that SA huddle then or not?
What's that?
Oh, it's just after feedback.
Oh, okay.
So South Australia with the disc ready to pull. Narelle going to be potting up a nice long one. Just past the halfway. So Queensland, Yulei, yep, picking up the disc. Putting it to Amanda Wong, back to Yulei. And tries to get it to Cat, but there's a great run through there by Cookie.
Cookie gets a great defense there. Excellent. So...
Oh, disc on the field. Went straight through Narelle's legs. A bit of a nutmeg there.
This is a great opportunity for the Aussies to go upwind, but it looks like Queensland are really switched on here. They're playing really tight defense, and it's going to be hard for Aussies to get easy throws here.
So still coming in on 2.
Swings to Ayaka. A little bit behind her. Oh, just a little bit behind her. Made it hard to just snag it. That's a shame. They're going to put this pretty quick, I reckon.
Yulei to Amanda Wong. Back to Yulei. To Jenny Smith. Jenny back to Yulei. He's in the middle. Pops it up to Kat Smith. It's a bit high, but she got time. And puts it into the end zone. Oh, got a hand on it, Amanda Wong. Almost a great grab. Just bounced right out of the hand.
So Yaka to bring it up. She's on the upside, upwind side of the field, but the wind is actually pretty mild at the moment.
It's just died down.
And if the South Aussies realise that, they may try to work it a bit more. Oh, it's a great D. Just really good, quick D
there by Amy Bolt. She ran from about 10 metres behind the player, saw that the disc was going there, and just powered through. So Kat Smith got the disc in the front of the end zone. Back to you, Lee Yap. And a cut across from Crystal Rowe. Just read the play really well, popped it out. So Queensland get another score, 4-8. South Australia still in very good spirits, which is what we like to see. You can always come back in a Frisbee game. It's really hard when people start hanging their heads if they get down 1 or 2 points. It's impossible to come back in that position. But if everyone's still positive and you still keep putting good effort on the field, there's always a chance to come back. So Queensland going to be pulling the disc. Amy Mueller with the pulling duties today. She's got a very good arm on it. You saw that big flick huck from her from about her brick mark. So 3/4 of the field into the end zone. Teams have been struggling to get it sort of past the halfway mark with these pulls. So Queensland's got a little bit of an advantage there where they can give it to Amy Mueller and she's consistently putting it past the brick mark. Obviously, that gives you a good advantage with the defense because you're adding an extra 25, 30 metres that the offensive team has to work it.
So time cap's just gone. Look, we got the score at 8-4. They got it at 9-5. But either way, it's finished this point because it's already started and add 1 to the highest. And it will play to that. So we're getting pretty close to the end of this game now.
Queensland coming down with the zone, and South Australia just unfortunate, went straight to their player and another sort of just miscommunication and a drop. Mueller once again pointing to the end zone, faking the flick, putting a big backhand up, and there's been a call from Vivian Ewan in the end zone. Not sure what the issue was. It didn't seem like there was too much contact, so we'll see what the decision is. Each player acting out what they thought happened.
Looks like it might have been retracted. I think that it's working out positions. I think it has been retracted though.
So Amy Mueller puts it up. It looks like, there you go, you can see it. So the South Australian player came across and blocked out one of the Queensland players, but ultimately she wasn't the one that actually went for the disc. So it was a bit incidental. It was probably a foul, but it wasn't on the player, and it didn't affect the play. So they've retracted it and given South Australia the disc. South
Australia playing with fire here, electing to try and work it out of their end zone. Oh, it's a great down the line by Paula. Finds Michaela, puts up the flick, finds Kath in the end zone. Got to handle, but can't pull it in. And a curling a little bit inside her.
That's a coach killer there for South Australia. Great throw up the line to Michaela. Open player in the end zone. She put it to her, and a drop in the end zone. That is your worst nightmare as a receiver. And a pick called. Just came in on 6, so she's got to get rid of it quickly. Got the swing away. Vivian just being the anchor on this offense line for Queensland. Every second disc coming to her. And gets it to Amy Mueller, puts it into the end zone. A little bit off target. So back to South Australia's disc.
As usual, Ayaka to pick it up. You've got Michaela down here in quite a lot of space. She can spot that. I don't think that's beyond her to put this throw around here.
The problem, I think... Oh, yes. There you go, and she's finally put it to her.
Yep, excellent. She's got lots of targets. Elects to go for the big one. It's a good shot. Kath is under it. Can she get it a second time? Oh, no! She's put it down a second time.
Commentator's curse right there. He's called it. Can she drop it a second time? And a second after, that's exactly what she's done. That is the definition of commentator's curse right there. That's unfortunate for South Australia. After really good play, another drop in the end zone.
Looks like it might be high. Just gets the fingertips.
And then now
quick to put it back into play. Wants to find a target early. Knows she's got Michaela in the end zone. Trying to spot her still. Decides to go the short one. Pull it. Keeps it in. Puts a big one up to Michaela. It's an excellent shot. Inside. Oh, don't want to say anything, but this one is drifting out. This is definitely a thrower error this time. Well out the back of the end zone.
That was definitely throw error. She had the player deep in the end zone, but she actually had 2 streaming players, one on the left, one on the right. Both of them were free with no defender on them. Just a little bit of a rush of blood to Michaela. She should have faked that long one and just given a nice little dishy for the score. Now they have to do the hard work on defense again. Early put by Queensland up the line, and it doesn't look like it ever came in, so it should be coming all the way back to the end zone.
So the disc is going to be brought in right back on the end zone cone, I think. Never coming back in. South Australia doing their isolation stack. Michaela at the front. She's going to be the target. Let's see how well they do this.
Yeah, they're right in the red zone, so this is a play they will have practiced many times before.
Everybody goes. I'm not sure if that's the play, but everyone cuts at once, and that seems to come off.
It must have been exactly what they practiced at training.
I guess so.
So South Australia score to survive, which means that we add 1 point, so it's a game to 9. Time cap's already gone. Queensland have the offense downwind to either finish the game. So South Australia have got a tough ask. They have to score upwind as a break to keep the game going. Game to 9. So South Australia putting all of the experience on the line right now. They know this is a win or die situation. They either have to finish this point or they finish playing. They either have to score this point or they finish the game. So they've got everyone with experience on the line at the moment. Queensland, they've just called their standard offense. Same as they have all game. Don't think it's changed. they're not too fussed. They've got a couple of breaks up, so they're pretty happy at the moment. But if South Australia can score this, it'll definitely scare Queensland, and it'll cause them to make some changes.
Decent pull by Michaela. It's got to make it just around about equal with the brick mark.
Kat Smith picks up the disc, sets it to Yuli Yap for Queenslander Jenny Smith. Back to Yuli, back to Kat. Oh, and it's just drifted over her head, but she managed to rake it in before it went out of bounds. Big crossfield hammer for Kat Smith, and that's a tough throw to catch. Crystal Rowe just drops it. It's a big ask.
He's got a bit of a sniff. Nice high one. Michaela pulls that back in. She's got someone deep, but doesn't want to put that one. Wants to go back to Narelle. Narelle gets working.
And there's a stall out called.
Looks like it might be uncontested.
And play continues.
What are they going to do about that?
So there shouldn't be. It should be a stall out anyway. It shouldn't be a double turnover. I have to say that was a very quick 10 seconds on that stall count. So it's Queensland disc. There's a little bit of confusion. Oh, finally, the disc has been tapped in. Everyone's figured it out. So Queensland's disc, they pick it up. Kat Smith's got it. Swings it across to Jenny Smith. Drops it back to Kat. Down the line, they put it into the end zone. Oh, it's a tough throw. Michaela jumped up to get the D and had a little bit too much pepper on it for the receiver. So South Australia get another shot at it.
Narelle to bring the disc in. It's going to be tough to generate movement from this stoppage, I reckon. Everyone's in the stack. Elects to swing it straight away. I think it's a good move. Across to Cookie. Up high. Michaela has a great one-handed grab to keep that in. Sneaks up the sideline to Chloe. Chloe looking to move this. There. Kat is going to bomb it. It's really nice throw. Ayaka's there, though.
To Amanda Wong, but Ayaka read that disc really well.
Really good read.
She's faded in front and got the D.
Ayaka's been an excellent pickup for the South Aussies. Unfortunately, I think she's back to Japan in just a couple months. So
that's the way things go, isn't it? You pick up an American or an international for a season, and then they go.
South Aussies continuing to just cram it up this line, up the line to Ayaka. Just always within a metre or two of the sideline. Maddie up the line, back to Chloe. Oh, still in.
Ooh, she was close to the line.
Very close to the sideline here. Still up to Michaela. Oh, very nice bid, but Michaela gets it. Anyway, still right within a metre of the sideline. Seems to be working up above her head. What can Chloe do? She's going to have pressure on her. Oh, it's a good grab under pressure. That's the first time.
Grab from South Australia.
First upwind point for the South Aussies. Give them a little bit of wind now. They've still got a long way from home here, but it gets them a little bit of a sniff and starts to put a little bit of pressure on Queensland.
Yeah, it's the first upwind point, and it couldn't have come at a better time for South Australia. They've now got the downwinder, and Queensland still need to score to win. So it's a game to 9. Queensland are on offense, but they have to go upwind, and they have to essentially get an upwind break to score. South Australia just cramming it up the cram hole. I think it was 10 shots up the sideline, never more than about 3 or 4 metres away from the sideline, and then a nice put into the end zone. A little bit iffy. Made Polly work for it, but she is tall, so she did her job.
South Aussies finding their rhythm a bit in these last few points. Switching Narelle back to handling and Michaela out into the field. They put a number of bombs out to Michaela and she's reeled them in, and that's really kind of opened up the second half of the field for them. So finding their feet here a little bit. Probably, I'd say, a little bit too late for this game, but good to see them coming home strong towards the end.
I'd like to see them score this one. Obviously, they're on defense, but they are going downwind, so they've got to get one turn, and then they've got the advantage. Queensland still have a better chance of winning the game because even if they lose this one, they still have a downwind after. But we like to see them go to Universe Point early on in the tournament.
I had a bit of a chat to the SA coaches at half-time. They mentioned that Narelle was getting assassinated by the Queenslanders, which is why she was going deep. Certainly explains that, and Michaela was coming back to handle. But I think they've decided to wear that anyway and have Narelle work around the disc still, given she's got very good disc skills. And I think that is working for them.
So Narelle to pull it to start the point off for SA. So Vivian picks up the disc, sets it quickly to Mueller in the middle. Back to Mueller. Oh, throws it over the top of the cup, and that's the turn. That's the turn that South Australia needed, so they're now on offense.
So what are they going to do? She's going to one-shot it. Elects for the safe option. Over to Michaela, over to Jackie on the sideline, but this is a dangerous position for South Australia here. Gets it through to... Oh, it's a nice reach behind... Got Michaela, goes for the big bomb. Who's she looking for? Looking for Cookie. Comes through, catches it on her knees. It's a good throw. Looks for Maddie in the end zone. That's the goal for South Australia. Now it does get a bit tight.
That is a fantastic grab by Cookie. We'll watch the replay, but the Queensland defender just got herself tricked up. First thing, she started looking at the disc, and then she started trying to mark the player, and as she turned around to mark the South Australian player, all of a sudden she ran straight past and caught the disc. So that puts a little bit of pressure on. Queensland were pretty chill the last 2 points. They're putting on a line, not worrying about it. And you can see here Michaela's shot. Great extension. Beautiful shape on that. Wynn catches it and just pushes it down, and the Queensland defender just got herself twisted up in a circle, and then Maddie, reading the situation really well, gives a nice option just for that dishy into the end zone.
But this is the money point right here, and you'd say it definitely favours Queensland. They're a strong team. Their offense has been very, very smooth, moved through this very, very well, and they're going downwind. It's this will be a very hard job for the South Aussies to get this upwind point, and I'd say that Queensland are going to play some really good ultimate here, and they're going to put it in. I think they'll stay strong for this point.
This is where the unique style of ultimate comes into play. So at tournaments, obviously, time cap goes and then you finish the point, then you add one and then you play to that. It's a little bit different to a lot of the other sports. It gives the losing team a chance to come back, and already we've seen 2 scores that wouldn't have happened if it was just a hard time cap. So it's interesting. South Australia can come back from this. It's going to be tough for them. They need to get the turn, but we'll see what Queensland does on offense, whether they just jack it early or if they really value that disc.
I'd say look for Kath to really dominate this point. She's going to make this happen. It's a fairly short pull as well to start off.
Yeah, in that situation, if I was SA, I'd just pull it out of bounds. Better to have it on the sideline or force them to do a brick than have it in the middle of the field. But Queensland have done it themselves. So Yulia Yap with the disc, trying to get out of this zone.
South Aussie's doing a good job to trap them on this sideline, and they do get the turnover. Queensland feeling a few nerves here, but what do? They pump it. Oh, it's a block right on the sideline.
Huge.
Excellent way to put your body on the line.
She saw the big wind up, and she just jumped in front, and she's got a sore arm now. That was a big throw by Narelle. Kat comes to pick up the disc.
The experience will show here. She's not going to let this phase her, this zone. Puts up a disc. Oh, it's a nice catch.
Mueller with the disc, squeezes it through.
Danger time here now for South Aussies. They've got to stop this. And there it is.
Vivian grabs the disc and just plants it in the end zone. So Queensland take the game 9-7. Hard-fought game in the end. A lot closer than it was at the start.
Got a bit exciting there at the end. That's what we like to see.
So South Australia got some good signs there going forward in the competition. Got quite a few good players, and if they can keep that defence up, the zone that they've played a few times, they're going to go far in this tournament.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot separating the teams, but Queensland definitely had a deeper team. They had a little bit more height, probably a little bit more speed, and certainly they were just more consistent with their throws. They could string a few more passes together than the South Aussies did. South Aussies were very reliant on Narelle and Ayaka to move that disc, it could get a bit hairy after a few passes. So not a lot separating them, but certainly Queensland had the experience, I think, and Kath was very, very hard to stop.
So thanks for checking in. We've got another game coming up in about 10 minutes. Yeah, game on in about... Oh, no, sorry, it's lunchtime now. So we've got a bit of a break until the next game. But check in. We'll be streaming all day and then all day tomorrow. Catch you later.